Hi everyone, so Coach Fred here. So today's SAT video of the day is going to be back to systems of equations in the SAT, what you really have to understand. And this is video number 2, so if you haven't watched part 1, go back to part 1. This is part 2. We did talk about the fact that there's many different types of systems that you'll be faced with on the SAT, systems of linear equations, systems of linear inequalities, systems involving a linear and a quadratic equation, and just the whole concept of a system, meaning being able to solve two equations simultaneously to find a common solution. So it doesn't actually have to be one of these three, but these are the ones that I've seen the most of. All right, so to make sure we're comfortable, let's make sure we understand linear for a second. So we talked about in the last video the three possible solutions that can happen. You can, the two lines that you have could intersect and you get a coordinate point where they intersect because that makes both equations true. It satisfies both equations. You could have a scenario where there's no solution, which doesn't mean that you can't do anything. It means that the lines are parallel. Because if we're looking for a point of intersection, a common solution, and they don't have one, that means that the lines would be parallel to each other. Now, this is important. If lines are parallel, you need to make sure you understand that they have the same slope. So we're going to talk about ways that you find the slope quickly in these types of equations. And then the last thing that can happen is that you can have infinite solutions, which means that the lines are exactly the same. That means they have the same slope, and then they also have every single point in common. All right, so let's get to work. Let's attack a more challenging problem than we did in part 1. Here we go. It says, in the systems of equations above, k is a constant and x and y are variables. For what value of k will the system of equations have no solution? Okay, so first of all, they didn't tell me what type of system. And so we want to look at it carefully and see that these are both linear equations. Now, they said that x and y were the variables and that k was a constant. We're going to see that a lot. All that means is that k is a number, and I have to find it. All right, and then it says, for what value of k will the system of equations have no solution? So as soon as I see that, I need to think about that scenario. No solution, parallel lines. Most important part, they have the same slope. Okay, so there's an easy way to do this. There's a not so easy way to do this. The not so easy way would be to put these into y equals mx plus b to find the slope. I don't want to do that. It's going to waste time. I might make an error. These are in standard form. And I want to remind you, standard form, if you watch the linear functions videos, is ax plus by equals c. All right, anytime we have a standard form equation, you can quickly find the slope by doing negative a over b. Okay, so this is a, this is b, this is a, this is b. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to use negative a over b. I'm going to make sure that's in my head. I'm going to make sure that when I have standard form equations that I know that the slope is negative a over b. So for the first equation, okay, I want to make sure these lines have the same slope. So for the first equation, I'm going to find the slope. All right, so that would give me negative k. Remember, k is a constant over negative 3. Negative a over b, and b is negative. So that gives me k over 3. There's my first slope, my slope to my first line. My slope to my second line, negative 4 over negative 5. So 4/5. Okay, we want these to be exactly the same. And remember, equals means is the same as. So we can say that k over 3 is the same as 4 over 5. All right, so here we can clear fractions, or you might say cross multiply, and we're going to get 5k equals 12, and then divide both sides by 5. So then k equals 12/5. There's that number because they did say k was a constant, a number, and so my answer would be A. All right, so that's not normally what you're doing when you're solving system of equations in algebra. So I want you to get comfortable with this type of equation, and I hope that this video you found helpful. There are going to be several more on systems of equations, so check back later. Have a great day.